Right, thanks for sticking with us. Now, recently our Amanda Faye sat down with an expert on families and video game use to figure out what exactly is going on. Where's that good, healthy balance? Here's what they had to say.
School is out, and that means kids are looking for some things to do, and that could mean spending time playing video games. As a parent, though, there's likely some things you should keep in mind if your kid is a gamer. This afternoon, Aubrey Quinn is with us from the Entertainment Software Association. Aubrey, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So there was a report that recently came out about gaming. What did you find?
So every year, the Entertainment Software Associations put out its essential facts about the U.S. video game industry. It's a snapshot of who plays, why they play, how they play. And what we learned this year really is that everyone plays. 61% of Americans, or more than 190 million of us, are logging in every week to play video games. And that cuts across all demographics: race, ethnicity, gender, age. Truly everyone loves to play.
So let's talk a little bit then about the difference between kids and adults when it comes to playing. Who is playing there and why are they playing?
Yeah, so what's really interesting about this is we see most kids are playing. Over 80% of Gen Alpha is playing every week, and that decreases a little bit with age, but still more than 50% of millennials, including 50% of millennial women like me, are logging in every week to play. So while it decreases, it doesn't decrease that much. The number one device that people are playing on are mobile devices, our cell phones. And so that might look like Wordle or Candy Crush for some of us. My kids love to play Mario Kart on mom's iPhone. So it really just depends on what device works for you and your lifestyle. You know, I also love the family statistics. We learned that 83% of parents who play games say they're playing with their kids. And what a fun way to spend time together as a family.
Oh, so it could be, a positive thing here, kids and parents playing together and finding enjoyment with that. I think it's interesting, the device. When I think of video games, millennial as well, I think of that console with the remote control and play, but now, yeah, we do. We've got the phones and it's really easy to play just right there. So as a parent, what do we need to know about our kids when they're playing?
Sure. So the things I like to remind parents about video games is, first of all, games are fun. They are a form of entertainment. The number one reason people say they play, and this is true across all ages, is to pass the time and relax. Growing up, so we were saying we're both millennials, I watched a lot of cartoons Saturday morning before I went outside and played. Now my kids sit down and they play Xbox, Nintendo Switch, they play games. I don't see a lot of difference between that. Most parents wouldn't worry about their kids sitting down and watching a 2-hour movie to decompress, sit down after, swim practice, a baseball game. So first of all, parents, don't be afraid. Video games are entertainment. Second, there are a ton of benefits from playing games. This isn't passive screen time, it's active. There's a growing body of academic and scientific research that shows us games are good for our brains. In fact, one of my favorite studies says that kids who play games learn how to learn. They're developing cognitive skills, resilience. They learn how to lose and start over. They're learning strategy. They're creating whole worlds. So depending on how much time you choose to let your kids play, it's really fun. And then when you do bring in a console or your phone to let the kids play, understand that there are numerous tools and resources available parents to make sure they are in charge and in control of what kids play. Virtually every device you can play video games on, including the 3 consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch, have parental controls in place. So you can filter games by age rating. I have a 10-year-old daughter at home. She can't see or access games that aren't rated E for everyone or E10+. You can do that all through the parental controls. You can also limit when they play, how much time they play. So I set limits and then the controls enforce them. And you can restrict or block in-game communications. You can restrict or block in-game spending. So when you set up your consoles, be sure to set up those parental controls. And then I like to say, let them be the bad guy. You set the rules and then let the controls do the hard work.
Yep, sorry, the computer did it. It just turned it.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I love that that those controls are in place though, because yes, I have a 6-year-old and she likes to get on her tablet and play some games. And we as parents though, she sits in front of a TV too. So we as parents have to, take that control and set those limits. And as you said, there could be some benefits from all that game playing.
Exactly. And then another thing for parents to keep in mind, I think this was one as important as we talk about the content in games, is that video games are a form of entertainment. And just like all forms of entertainment, movies, TV, books, there are things that I will let my 18-year-old son play and watch that I wouldn't want my 10-year-old daughter near. She's just not mature enough or ready for it. So I don't let her watch Quentin Tarantino yet. I don't let her play M-rated games. The good news for parents is that the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB, has been rating games and mobile apps for 30 years. And so if your kid asks for a game that you haven't heard of before, all you have to do is go and search. You can go to the ESRB website, or you can just Google it. But what is the age rating of this video game? And so you said you have a 6-year-old, you may decide that T for teen is too mature, right? If you're not ready for her or him to be watching PG-13 movies, they probably aren't ready to be playing T for teen games. So take advantage of the parental controls, understand the ESRB ratings, and then just let your kids have fun.
Very good. Great information. We appreciate it because, yes, kids are going to want to play and we have to be, involved in that process. But it's good to know that there are safety nets in place for us. Aubrey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy summer. Happy gaming.
Yes, you too. Take care.